All right, this is Sports for Real with Coach Hall. I saw yesterday that Patrick Mahomes has undergone successful knee surgery. As you know, he pretty much blew out his knee the other day when they played the Chargers late in the game. That loss ended up eliminating Kansas City from the playoffs. But had they won the game with no Mahomes, then um, it wouldn't have been much hope for the Chiefs anyway. So the injury actually happened at a good time for the Chiefs because he can get started on early rehab and go from there. Um, I was trying to figure out what all these injuries is taking place is the reason that they're getting hurt now because of the playing surface, because you're having a lot of non-contact injuries these days, or old school like when I played, guys that got hurt, they got hit in an awkward fashion, or somebody landed on them wrong, or something along those lines. Well, after looking at the film, because I never saw it, he kind of planted wrong when he was trying to run away from the Kansas City defender, from the Charger defender. And as he was stepping, and the guy was hitting him on the other side, his right leg, his left leg, because it was in an awkward position, kind of hyperextended and pushed way back. And that's the point of where he got hurt, because you had a force pulling from one side, an awkward step on the left side, and it caused force on the knee. You can see that from the front side, but you can really see it at the point where that knee hyperextended from the back view. So it wasn't anything intentional about a defender. It's just something that happens when you just got him to get hit or grabbed on at the wrong time, and it caused that leg to go backwards a little bit. Selmo, what's going on? I see you popped up at Selmo today, so I don't know what the problem was before. Popping bottles with the ice. What's going on? And appreciate you guys chiming in. A lot of you say that Alabama can't beat Oklahoma. Well, as I look at those stats, and I looked at the game for what I saw, Alabama was moving the ball at will against Oklahoma. The difference turned out to be those 3 turnovers. Now, if Alabama, of course, can eliminate those 3 turnovers, and I think they need to run the ball a little bit more. If they can do that, then I don't think they're going to have any trouble with Oklahoma. But Oklahoma knows that Alabama needs to do certain things as well. So it's going to come down to quarterback play. Now, to my understanding, if you talk to Alabama fans, they don't have any confidence in Simpson, despite all the acclaim and accolades he's getting from the national media. But when you look at his play lately, he's not performing that well. And if he plays the way he's been struggling down the stretch, then that bodes well for Oklahoma. If they can turn him over, then Oklahoma has a chance to win. Because, as you know, Mateer, he's a pretty good quarterback. He had come off injury, wasn't long off injury when he played Alabama last time, and he didn't play very well. Only had like 138 yards passing, and he ran the ball for maybe 35 or 40 yards. So he was definitely limited by the injuries that he had. So let's just call it that. So now you're going to have a healthy Mateer. You're going to have a rejuvenated Alabama team who set out several players against Georgia in game, in the championship game, anticipating that they would make the playoffs. Well, all that worked in Alabama's favor. Now the question is, what are they going to do about it? And I think if they don't turn the ball over this time, then they should have an excellent chance of beating Oklahoma. Oklahoma is going to be different as well. So this should be fireworks from the go, and they're all going to come down to what Simpson is going to do. And they go as he goes. Just like what the Jaguar fans said about Trevor Lawrence. Jaguars go as he goes. And if he's struggling, that team is struggling. So I'm just waiting to see how this thing is going to take place. JC, what's going on, man? Whatever, popping. I appreciate the half compliment, but I'm not getting into that. But now I got you guys on here. I want to talk quickly about the value of coaching decisions. I don't know if you guys are aware or not, but the biggest classification in high school football down here is 7-8. And you had two schools, and I don't know how it always work out this way, but a lot of times the state championship beef teams that aren't too far from each other. Lake Mary and Vero Beach, maybe 125, 130 miles apart. Well, Vero Beach was undefeated and it looked to be the better team. They were up by 14 points for the most part during the game, and yeah, I see Selmo got his name back, and they had the lead. They were up 27 to 19, and all they needed to do was get a first down. They had just got an interception, and all they needed to do was get one first down to ice the game. But what a coach, he decided to run the victory formation 3 plays in a row and punt, because in his words, they were deep down there and they wanted to protect the ball. Well, I understand that. And you're talking about less than a minute in the game. So what they ended up doing, they took the victory kneel down 3 times. Then they went to punt. Well, instead of punting the ball, they pull that old NFL crap or higher level college stuff where you have people that actually execute what it is you're trying to do. He called for the punter to run out the end zone for a safety. Okay, now you're up 27-21. Good shape, right? Driving rainstorm, right? You're up by 6. So you squib the ball off like you should do. And the other team came down one play with 8 seconds left in the game. Remember, a driving rainstorm. He just picked the guy off last time they had the ball. Guy rolls around, corks one deep, and the Vero guys jumped up, 2 or 3 of them at the same time with the Lake Mary guy. They bat the ball back. It lands in the hands of a Lake Mary receiver. Immediately, Vero wrap him up, but they don't quite have him all the way. And the guy squirms around a little bit, and he keeps the play alive just enough that the referees don't blow it dead. And another guy that was coming down to try to catch the reflected ball, he was standing next to him. So he took the ball out of his hand and ran into the end zone and scored with no time left. Tie game, right? All you got to do is hit the extra point. Lake Mary lines up, and sure enough, he kicked the extra point, and he pulled off the improbable walk-off to a state championship that you're ever going to see. But it's the coach of Vero that put them in that position. Even though you backed up deep on your own end, all you need is one first down. This team hasn't stopped you pretty much all night. And you decide to go to the victory formation to try to ice the game. Now, I understand it's a driving rainstorm. And no matter what you do, you're going to be scrutinized for whatever decision you make. But in this case here, in the driving rainstorm, you could fumble. I understand that. But at the same time, you have to trust how you got there in the first place. And by not trying to get a first down, he eliminated his team's chances of winning. And then he even made it worse by running out of the back in the end zone for 2. Let's just say he goes for it on 4th down. He runs around, and kills the clock and don't give up the safety. You're still up by 8 points. The likelihood of you losing that game is very remote. Even if they block the punt, it's still remote that you're going to lose. But in the coach's defense, I understand his line of thinking, but here's a school that hadn't won a state championship game since 1981, which happens to be the only year my school won a state championship. So I understand the drought there. And you had it in your hands, and all you had to do was make the right move. He didn't make the right move. And of course, you know, they called him for his head down there in Indian River County. And I don't know how that's going to shake out, but I saw the glazed look in his eyes after the game, and that was immediately after the game. So you know he was sick over that. He's probably still sick. He's going to be sick. But like in all sports, you're going to have to overcome that. But the point is, the value of a coach's decision to do whatever he's going to do determines the fate more so than what the players do on the field. You determine that. And this guy here did not come through. And I think in the end, he doesn't have any higher ups to protect his job. I don't think he's going to be there very long. But they did a great job going undefeated. They went through a gauntlet of a schedule to get where they were, and they deserve to be there. And they appeared to be the best team. But a lot of times the best team, they just don't win the championship, man. And a lot of times it has to do with the decision the coach makes. All right. So that's enough of that. Making my way downtown, walking fast, face pass, and I'm homebound. What you talking about? CH1 Town Buster? So are you talking about Chicago Chi-Town Buster? Okay, I think that's what you're trying to say. Um, let's talk about these division races, man. You got the Bears. They're in a good spot right now. Detroit appears to be reeling, and then you got the Packers. This division is going to shake out and come down to the last week of the season because you got Green Bay and Chicago have to meet, and then Detroit, even though they played Green Bay twice, they got to play Pittsburgh this week. So Pittsburgh is fighting to hold the position they're in, and Detroit appears to be a little bit desperate. So it's going to be interesting to see just how this last week shakes out. It's going to be very important during these division games. You got the NFC North, and you got the AFC South. A lot of people in Jacksonville already got the division sold up, but that is not the case. The Colts are going to play a very important role into who wins that division, primarily because they played the two leaders. They were leading the division for the most part of the season until they fell apart. They lost Daniel Jones and they replaced him with Phillip Rivers. He almost pulled an upset against Seattle the other day, and the only reason I think they didn't win that game is because his timing was off after being on the couch for 5 years. He missed some receivers that he should have had for big plays. Had he had his timing down, he would have made those throws. But as time goes on, the next couple of weeks, his timing is going to improve. So I don't know. I think the Colts have, I forget who the Colts are playing this week, but next week they got the Jaguars. And then they're going to close with the Texans. Right now, the Jaguars are 10-4, have a one-game lead over the 9-5 Texans, and then the Colts right behind them at 8-6. If the Colts were able to defeat both these teams, then that's going to cause a logjam at the end where it's going to come down to tiebreakers. And Phillip Rivers is the one that's going to make the difference. So everybody's laughing at his age. They think they're already in a better position because their teams have been hot. This guy can throw the football. And if they can run the ball with Jonathan Taylor like they've been able to do, they're going to run play action and hit some receivers. So don't count the Colts out because they have a lot to say about who's going to win that division. Now, the other division, you have a tie at the top with the Rams and the Seahawks, and they're going to get it on tomorrow night. The Rams are in first place by virtue of the head-to-head win over Seattle earlier, and they're going to have to do it again tomorrow night. And I like the way the NFL, several years ago, it might have been about 10, 12 years now, it used to be where they would just make a schedule and it was what it was. You didn't have a whole lot of division matchups at the end. And the teams, say like the Jets, who had no chance of making the playoffs, they had already had this stuff all packed up, and in their mind, they're already on vacation. They weren't taking it serious. But when you put division games for everybody at the end of the season, that changes the whole dynamic because now you can't skate because that game has a lot of weight on it and it's very serious for everybody involved. So as you see, as the Jaguars and the Colts and the Texans have to go down to the wire, Pittsburgh's going to have to play Baltimore. The winner of that game is probably going to end up winning the division. And pretty much every division out there is going to be determined on the last week of the season. And I think that makes great theater. And this is one of the reasons why the NFL makes football the best sport in the world. Now, I know you soccer purists going to say, well, football is the best sport in the world. Nope. American football, especially, in North America, is going to be higher rated than any kind of soccer match you can ever find. Now, I know you can get more people, you get more fan viewership from these soccer games because one thing about soccer that I do like, international, they get behind that team. So it's your country against my country, and that makes it great, which is one of the reasons why I used to like high school football because it's your town against my town. But now it's not like that anymore. It's your town and my town. But when you look at the rosters, half the damn team might be from somewhere else. So is it really high school football? I don't think so. but it's just the way things are right now, and it's not going in a good fashion. But I can't do anything about it. I just don't have to have anything to do with it. But I will tell you this: it stinks. All right, I'm not getting much action today. We got a new guy in here. What's it, Joe Jet David? No, that's my name, JC. I'm lost. This is JC. Another JC, or is it the same JC we always talk about? I don't know what happened to Selmo before, but it looked like he's gone. But he finally came back with his regular name. I don't know why he couldn't get through before, but I'm glad he got back through this time. But anyway, I went and joined TikTok. So if you want to hear a little bit different take, I did a little thing on stats today about the Oklahoma-Alabama matchup, and I want to post shortly. And I want to try TikTok and just see if I can expand my reach. So if you guys, if you like and subscribe here, please do the same over at TikTok, so we can do a simultaneous live. So whichever one you sign on, you'll be able to catch me. But I just started that the other day, and I figured probably about a week or so to have enough to go live, and that's what I'm interested in doing, is going live. And that should be interesting once that takes place. But it's just a new phenomenon I'm trying, and we'll see how long that lasts. But like I say, it's always nice to try something different. But I think that Alabama is in a great position to get to the next round. And like I said before, SEC fans already got the winner of this game penciled into the semifinals because they don't have much faith in Indiana. They think Indiana is overrated. And because they're not in the SEC, they didn't play anybody from the SEC. So why should they respect them? And I think it's a grave mistake. But if you talk to most SEC fans, they already passed Indiana, and they're looking to play that fourth seed. And I think that's the winner of it's the Oregon James Madison matchup, I believe. And Georgia's ranked number 2, I believe. So it could be an all SEC championship. It's possible, but I doubt it. And that's the reason why we play the games, because most people would pick the sexy names, the ones that they know, without taking into account the good football other conferences play. And that's why I'm kind of glad they went to the playoffs, because now you can see what I've been saying all along. All these conferences are set up just alike. You got 2 or 3 teams at the top. You got 2 or 3 teams at the bottom. Everybody else is in the middle. So that's my take on that. But anyway, that bell rung. I got to get up out of here, man. So wherever you are in the world, you have a great day. Let's have some breaking news. I'll catch you guys in the morning with some more dope stuff about the NFL. Again, Patrick Mahomes had successful surgery, so he'll be back next year around training camp, they say. And don't count the Chiefs out. They're going to be back. And that's bad news for a lot of people. But the Steelers were going to take them out anyway. So let me end by saying most of you think that OU will beat Alabama again. And I'm thinking that's not going to be the case. But I've been proved wrong before. So until then, I catch you guys on the flip side. This is Sports for Real. I'm out.